This young cop is notorious for crashing his car. Well, now he's notorious for ending the life of another while crashing his car.
Up file next week marks a year since a BPD patrol car going more than 100 miles per hour struck a car carrying two people, killing one of them instantly. Now, the CHP-led task force investigating the crash has made its findings available to us here at 17 News. Our storyteller 17's Robert Price is back on duty, and he has more on the 506-page report.
The crash took seconds, but the investigation almost a year. And now we have some of the results. The California Highway Patrol has released to 17 News the multi-jurisdictional investigative summary of a horrific fatal crash involving a speeding Bakersfield police patrol car almost exactly 1 year ago on a pitch-black rural road. The report is breathtaking in its scientific detail and analytical depth, and its conclusions are both disturbing and heartbreaking. BPD officers Ricardo Robles and Travion Cobbins were racing down South Vineland Road at 103 miles per hour at about 2:20 a.m. on January 19, 2023, when, according to the CHP report, they ran the stop sign at Muller Road and slammed into the side of the Honda Accord of 31-year-old Mario Laris of Bakersfield and his passenger, 34-year-old Anna Hernandez, a co-worker. She suffered at least 11 broken bones and a lacerated liver, among other injuries. Laris died at the scene from head trauma. The officers, unbelted in their seats, but held back by their airbags, were seriously injured. Now, Robles, who investigators believe was the driver, is facing manslaughter charges. Potentially complicating the case against him is DNA evidence from those airbags. The CHP believes Officer Robles was the driver, but Officer Cobbins' DNA was on the driver's side airbags, and DNA on the passenger airbag was attributed to Officer Robles. And then there was this, a screenshot of a succession of incoming text messages recovered from Officer Robles' iPhone. Those text messages, according to the CHP report, promoted, quote, a desire to create confusion as to who was driving at the time of the crash, unquote. The message's author is unknown, the cellular number having been cropped from the screenshot. It reads, in part, if they weren't wearing seatbelts and both hit their heads really hard and can't remember who was driving, it's kind of hard to charge someone with manslaughter or murder. I don't see anyone convicting a passenger. In the months following the collision, CHP investigators noted everything from the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit to the size and condition of the stop-ahead letters painted on the cracked asphalt of the rural road near Lamont. They described the degree of darkness, studied roadway conditions, street corner sight distance, skid marks, and the placement and size of road signs. They cataloged the glass, metal, and plastic of the debris field, a damaged utility pole, and the destroyed grapevines where the Honda came to rest overturned. Laris, who did not have a driver's license, was identified by the Grimway work badge still attached to his gray hoodie. Investigators interviewed witnesses, neighbors, and crash survivors. They also took note of Robles' text message exchange 5 hours after the crash, presumably from the hospital, with another person whose name was redacted from the report. Robles, babe, I got in a bad car crash. I broke my hips. Unnamed contact. I told you about your driving. Robles, it was a pursuit. Contact. I get that, but I just knew it was bound to happen. You said you wouldn't crash. Officer Robles, a 23-year-old, 2-year BPD officer, had been in a previous crash just 4 months earlier, right in front of BPD headquarters on Truxtun Avenue at I Street. Investigators learned that Officer Cobbins had signed out the patrol car the night of the wreck and was driving at one point in the officer's overtime shift. They stopped at BPD's East White Lane substation so Officer Cobbins could use the restroom. But when the call came in, a stolen car pursuit, Officer Robles went inside the building to notify his partner. Cobbins hustled out, but according to Cobbins' statement, he had trouble securing his duty belt. Robles said he would drive while Cobbins worked on fixing his belt. The whole thing started when another BPD unit began pursuing a stolen silver GMC pickup from the Cracker Barrel parking lot eastbound down California Avenue and onto Edison Highway. The pursuit was canceled at Sterling Road due to high speeds. Another patrol unit spotted the suspect vehicle on Weed Patch Highway and resumed the pursuit. The suspect crashed at Weed Patch and Mountain View Road at 2:21 a.m. At about the same time, Robles and Cobbins were paralleling the pursuit down South Vineland Road, thinking they might get ahead of the pursuit and deploy spike strips. Tests would later determine that the patrol car's roof-mounted emergency lights were turned off, as was its siren. 5 seconds before impact, the Ford Taurus police interceptor was traveling at 103 miles per hour. A half second later, it decelerated from 100 to 74 miles per hour, braked hard, and at the last second, attempted an evasive maneuver. It was too late. The Honda was going 59 miles per hour, and the driver applied the brakes 1 second before impact, perhaps suggesting he did not see the patrol car until the last instant. Robles was in and out of consciousness, finally waking up to medical attention. He had a fractured left hip, a brain bleed, a concussion, and abrasions on his face and arms. And that's where it sits now. Robles faces another court appearance March 1st, at which time the judge may schedule a preliminary hearing. In Bakersfield, Robert Price, 17 News.
Wow. Pretty sad.